Hey guys, it's Diana. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. And I actually make videos all about my life here in Berlin, Germany. I've been living here for the last year. So these videos is really where I like to share my experiences and my thoughts as an expat living here. So if you do want to stick around and see more videos from me, definitely hit subscribe down below. That would be super amazing. I really appreciate it. And for all of you who have already subscribed, you guys are amazing. We recently hit 17,000, which is so freaking awesome. I'm so stoked about it, and I really appreciate all of your support and all of your awesome comments that you leave in all of my videos, so thank you. But for today, I'm actually going to be sharing some of the tips that I have on renting in Germany. Now, of course, I've only lived in Berlin, so I can't really share too much about how it might be in other cities, but I do think that a lot of these tips are quite universal across the major cities, at least in Germany. So I wanted to share my experiences and just my thoughts on this that hopefully you guys will find helpful. Now, just a bit of background about my experiences renting here. In the last year, Josh and I have moved 6 times, and I know when I say that out loud it sounds crazy. Nobody wants to move 6 times, but thankfully we don't have too much stuff with us, so it hasn't been as crazy as it sounds. But I really do think it worked out quite well for us, because now we're living in an apartment that we really love, in an area that we really like. So if you do have the luxury of testing out different areas, definitely do that so that you can find a place that really suits your needs and your lifestyle, because if you settle, then you're not going to be happy, and you definitely want to feel as comfortable as possible in your own home. So yeah, definitely take your time if you can. But I do want to talk about the struggle of actually finding a place to live. It is very competitive. Berlin is blowing up. Everybody wants to move here. It's booming with the tech industry. It's a very popular city now, and it's just constantly getting bigger and bigger. So of course, rent prices are going to go up, and demand for flats is increasing like crazy. So it is very competitive. People say that it is easier to find a job in Berlin than it is to find a place to live. And I definitely think that's true, just based on talking to other people who are also looking for flats. It's quite a tiring and tedious process. So you're definitely going to want to give yourself enough time so that you don't have to just settle for the first place that you see. So when it comes to actually looking for a place, I will leave some links down below on websites that I use. Now, for these websites, you're going to want to be checking them constantly. So there are quite a few postings that go up on the daily, but they do go down quite quickly, because again, there's such a high demand that they don't need to be up for that long. So you are going to want to constantly check these websites, frequently refresh that page, because also if you do find a place that you like a lot, you're going to want to make sure that you apply immediately. So don't just stall and be like, oh, should I send in a request for a viewing? Just go ahead and send it in, because we've spoken to people who actually rent places, and they say that in a matter of, I don't know, something crazy like 5 minutes, they will receive close to 100 applications, which is completely insane. So it's very competitive, so you want to make sure you get your application in right away, so that way you can go to a viewing and you have a higher chance of getting the spot. Another thing when looking at these postings is a few words that you may want to look out for. So the first one is Kaltmiete and Warmmiete. My pronunciation is shit, but Kaltmiete is cold rent, and then Warmmiete is warm rent. So if you see a place that has a price with cold rent, then that means it doesn't include any utilities whatsoever. And then of course, warm will include utilities like electricity, water, sometimes even cable and internet. So that's something that you're going to want to factor in when looking at the different price ranges. So if you see a listing and it says unfurnished, this means sometimes completely unfurnished, meaning that there is no kitchen, no bathroom, no sinks, no cabinets, no toilet. It is absolutely bare. So you will be expected to make your own kitchen, make your own bathroom, make your own closets, everything. And this is actually quite common in Germany. People really like to just design their own space, so a lot of people don't mind unfurnished, but especially if you are coming from North America where you do get these things, don't be surprised if you walk into a completely empty room on the day of your viewing. Once you get selected to come in for a viewing, if you get a couple of time slots that you can come in, pick one of the first ones, even if it means that you have to take an hour or two out of work to go see the place. I think your employer will be quite okay with it because everybody knows how competitive it is. So definitely pick one of the first time slots because obviously the sooner that you go, the most likely that you are to get picked. So you don't want to leave it to the end of the week or what have you, where your chances of actually getting the flat decrease significantly. Now on the day of the viewing, make sure that you bring all of the paperwork that is required. Sometimes when they're posting, they actually say what they need, or sometimes after you get your time slot confirmed, the agency or the landlord will actually send over a PDF doc for you to fill out, which is your application form, and they may also tell you that you need to bring in other things. So definitely bring that with you because if you do like the place, you are expected to hand over the paperwork right away. If you don't have it with it, your chances are completely over. They will not even consider you. And of course, it is very unprofessional to come completely empty-handed. So bring things in like your application form, possibly your last 3 pay stubs, your copy of your passport or your ID. Any recommendation letters are usually good. So a recommendation from your previous landlord saying that you paid rent is a really good paper to have, and sometimes they will even ask for your SCHUFA, which is your credit check. So if you do have a good credit score, make sure to bring that in because that can definitely boost your chances of getting the place. On the day of the viewing, do not be surprised if you are not the only person there. Even if you did pick a specific time, it is very, very likely that you will be grouped with a bunch of other people. Sometimes it could just be one other person, but sometimes it could be up to 10 people. Because of this, you're gonna want to stand out when you're there. So if you really do like the place, make sure that you take the time to talk to the real estate agent or the landlord or whoever's renting the place. Make sure that you take the time to talk to them, especially if you are interested in the place. You want to show that you're interested. You're gonna want to make small talk, and that way it will increase your chances of being remembered. And also, of course, it's going to make that person more comfortable with possibly renting out the place to you. So definitely you do not want to stay in a corner, look at the place and walk out. You're going to want to make an effort, and trust me, it will be worth it if you make the effort then, because then you don't have to keep looking for places like crazy. Now, if you do get the apartment, then that is awesome and congratulations. But some things that you will be expected to do afterwards is, of course, sign all the contracts, and sign the lease for the place. So make sure that you do have that read over by a lawyer or at least a German speaker, especially if the contract is in German. So make sure that everything is okay there. You will be expected to leave a deposit. I know in North America this is quite uncommon. People don't usually leave deposits, but usually in Germany, it is expected to leave at least 2 or 3 months deposit of your cold rent. So make sure that you do have that extra money. Of course, if everything's okay and you don't ruin anything significantly, then you will get that deposit back, but just make sure that you have that so that you can seal the deal and move into your dream place. If you do have any other tips that you want to share, please leave them down below. I'm sure that I'll be moving again in Berlin, so any tips that you have will definitely help me out in the future too and help everybody else out. So let me know down below. And that is pretty much it for this video. I hope that you found it helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye!